Do you know what all Americans are doing Tuesday night? The hints are everywhere.
Now you may kiss the bride.
Ah, the A-Team. It's making NBC's Tuesday night an American institution.
I want you to be there.
Hey all, today I thought I'd take a look at the A-Team trading card set to mark the 40th anniversary of the A-Team. The A-Team debuted in January 1983, January 23rd actually, and it was sort of a winter replacement show, and it took off like gangbusters. One of the earlier episodes was featured right after the Super Bowl, and after that they just got more and more popular. That Super Bowl appearance rocketed them to number 3 in the ratings, and then after that, they went up to number 1 for quite a long time. A-Team was a huge cultural touchstone for my generation. It featured a ragtag crew from Vietnam who were accused wrongly of a crime and busted out and were on the run from the army. And if you had a problem and no one else can help you, and if you can find them, you can hire the A-Team, and they'd clean up your neighborhood from bullies or whatever, or like gang members, or go fight a corrupt leader in another country, etc., etc. So here you have the team. This is, of course, Faceman, and Dirk Benedict, coming off of Battlestar Galactica. Mr. T, of course, a lot of the show was built around him because he made a splash in the 80s in like TV appearances and stuff, and of course Rocky 3 as Dwight Schultz as Howling Mad Murdock, George Peppard as Hannibal. George Peppard, of course, was a big movie star. He was in Breakfast at Tiffany's and all sorts of stuff. And Melinda Culea as Amy Allen, who was part of the A-Team for first couple of years or so, and quickly got written out. She just didn't fit with the overall masculine tone of the show. So I'm going to go through each card, do something fun here, man. These cards, of course, are way out of print. They're from TOPPS from 1983. 1983 was a big push for A-Team merchandise. They had little 3 3/4 inch figures. There were 3 comics from Marvel Comics. Marvel actually published them all at the same time and then didn't publish anymore. So this is card number 1. It's like introducing the A-Team. Howling Mad Murdock, BA Bad Attitude Baracus. That's what the BA stood for, not Bachelor of Arts. Templeton, the Faceman Peck, and Amy Amanda Allen, and Colonel John Hannibal Smith. And then the next one will be a Mr. T shot. Mr. T, of course, was a huge star out of this and Rocky 3. And, of course, spawned a whole cottage industry of Mr. T stuff. There's a Mr. T cartoon, Mr. T cereal, Mr. T figures, Mr. T dolls, Mr. T puzzles and board games and all sorts of stuff. I had an A-Team board game where Mr. T was basically the star of that. Here's a nice little shot of him. B.A. Baracus, a tough former staff sergeant, a mechanical genius, and weapons expert, has to go out for a gallon of milk. Unfortunately, a general from the army recognizes him while he's standing in line at the supermarket. So, yes, basically Mr. T played himself in these things. Moral, upstanding, but tough, good around kids, likes his milk, etc. And now these card sets, usually what happened was TOPPS would have access to a bunch of images from the studio. They'd select a bunch of images, and what they do was they'd weave their own story out of it. So that's what's happening here. Rather than take episodes and do an adaptation through a card set, they just basically take a bunch of like action images and just like profile images, etc., of the characters, and weave a story themselves. So this is the TOPPS A-Team story. So a wild ride. BA tries to get away by jumping on a passing car driving by the Faceman. Keep driving, BA warns as the car careens wildly down the street. Crash. So that's from some episode. The Faceman's car veers out of control. Hey man, you're worse than a Sunday driver, BA shouts while trying to maintain his balance. So I think Mr. T's on the car and Face is driving it. So here's a bunch of Mr. T shots. He's up against some green wall somewhere. And I guess one day they're like, Mr. T, just take a bunch of shots and it'll be fodder for a bunch of magazines and trading cards, etc. So up against the wall. The army captures BA when the car he was riding on crashes into a telephone pole. You better let me out of here, BA sternly warns. What? I like that. Mr. T-Shot. The army tells BA that he'll be behind bars forever unless he convinces the A-Team to go on a secret mission for them. What? He yells, you're crazy, man. So this is the TOPPS story. Eventually, this would be the kind of the premise of season 5 of the A-Team, where the A-Team, their death is faked, and so the army's off their back, but now they work for the government secretly on covert ops. And that's what killed the A-Team series. You Turkey. The army wants the A-Team to stop a gang of terrorists who are attempting to steal a nuclear bomb. At first, BA isn't crazy about the mission, but he tells his captors to forget it. And what's funny is that this isn't the type of mission that the A-Team would go on. They would basically go into like a rundown area that's run by a gang and they get rid of the gang or something like that, right? So no way. So now he's like flexing his muscles or whatever. The army reminds BA that he'll be in jail for the rest of his life if he doesn't follow their orders. Fine with me, he grunts. I could use a little vacation. Yeah, how does he think he's going to get there, though? Put it in gear. So there's the famous A-Team van, another big star of the show. At the time, TVs weren't what they are now, and we all just thought the van was black, but the top part here is gray. And it's funny because when they made toys of the van, they made many toys of it, they never reproduced that gray area. It was always a black van with that red streak. Hannibal Smith hears a radio report that the army has captured B.A. Baracus. Here we go again, he sighs, as the A-Team van zooms down the highway. I'll have to bail out that big guy somehow. So, somehow Face was not captured. I think he just got away in his car after crashing. I guess he was the guy who crashed. I don't know. It's not very clear. On Your Nuts is a nice picture of Dirk Benedict. The Faceman can't believe his ears. Hannibal, you know the only way we can bail out BA is by working out a deal with the army. And we'll get the short end of it for sure. Here's super relaxed George Peppard. He was great as Hannibal. Really lent this smiling face attitude about everything to the character. No sweat. Hannibal takes a puff off of his stogie, then laughs. He knows that he's over a barrel, but he's not going to lose any sleep over it. He's lived this long doing everything the hard way, so why stop now? More Mr. T posing by a green wall. A strong man. Yeah, while everyone's stressing out about this guy, he's just posing and stuff. BA is let out of jail. but only after the A-Team agrees to capture a band of terrorists operating in LA. I told you no jail could hold me, you turkeys. Yeah, they write a lot of like jive talk for BA. He didn't really talk like that. I mean, there's like no jibber jabber and all that stuff, but a new assignment. So here's Amy Allen. She was a reporter that followed the A-Team. And basically, she followed them in the pilot, and I guess she follows them after that, and was part of the crew for a little bit. But she's not what anyone remembers from this show. The Faceman jokes with Amy about the A-Team's new job. If BA were a beer drinker instead of a milk lover, we'd all be safe and sound at home. Don't let him hear you say that, Amy retorts. There's a nice shot of Mr. T. What's so funny? He's in like a different car there. He's not in the van. The Faceman teases BA, next time I'll buy a milk for you, okay, BA? BA snarls, ain't gonna be no next time if you don't shut up. So here's one of Hannibal Smith's disguises, which is a non-disguise. He always looked like George Peppard. It just it didn't matter what he was disguised as. So in disguise. Hannibal puts on a disguise so the A-Team can rescue Howling Mad Murdock from the mental hospital. I'm his uncle, Hannibal says. His mother died and I've come to take him to her funeral. But our records show that his mother's been dead for 5 years, gasped the confused nurse. Now, the whole thing with Howling Mad Murdock, played by Dwight Schultz, was he was not on the run with them. He was insane, and therefore he was in a mental institution. And the original pitch was you don't know if he's really nuts or if he's faking just to have the government pay his room and board, basically. And you never really know in the show. It seems like he is crazy, but the other thing too is usually it was Dirk Benedict's character, Faceman, that would bail him out of the hospital. A likely story. Hannibal talks his way out of it. Murdoch's stepmother died 5 years ago. His real mother, whom he never even knew existed, just died. He must come with me. Too bad for Howling Mad. Howling Mad gets depressed when he hears that his mother died. I never knew her, and now I never will. This is terrible, just terrible. More shots of Dwight Schultz hamming it up. What the heck? And a lot of kids, like Mr. T was popular, but I was always a big Hannibal guy. But I loved everyone on that show. Face was probably the my least guy, but like he was cool too. Murdoch was very appealing because he was so nutty and crazy and fun. And he did, I know Dwight Schultz did a lot of those Want to Grow On commercials for NBC where he'd teach lessons and things. It was really great. What the heck? Howling Mad agrees to go to his mother's funeral. I hate to leave this wonderful mental hospital, but I just couldn't sleep if I couldn't pay my respects to my dear old mother, whom I've never even laid eyes on. Okay. That's a weird little aside. So anyways, they bail him out. Ready for action. That's cool. And what's funny about this, whenever the A-Team cast would tour around to other countries to promote their show in different markets, it was always these three. It was Dwight Schultz, Dirk Benedict, and Mr. T. George Peppard didn't join them. I don't think Amy Allen did either. I don't really see them in stuff that's on YouTube. The A-Team is all together and ready, and already Hannibal's plan is in action. Aren't we going to my mom's funeral? Howling Mad jokes. Yeah, sure, if you screw up, BA says sternly. They sort of nod to the idea that Murdoch isn't in it. Well, I mean, he understands it's all a ruse, right? Okay, here's the start of a series of cheesecake shots of Melinda Culea. I don't know why they picked so many of these, and it's all these like with this 80s attire and stuff. So pretty as a picture. So Amy Ellen's going undercover here. Amy poses as a model to infiltrate the terrorist front, the Acme modeling agency. I don't know why the terrorists have a modeling agency as their front, but anyway. Now just act natural, wheezes the photographer who's actually one of the terrorists. Dun dun dun. Beautiful but deadly. Amy begins to feel awkward as the photographer gets a little bit too friendly. How about some dinner tonight, he asks, leering. In your face, she thinks to herself. More Melinda Culea. Say cheese. That's a nice smile. Amy plays along with the photographer, hoping to learn more about the terrorists. Where would you take me for dinner if I said yes? She asks coyly. Roberto's, he answers with a smile. More Melinda Culea. A busy lady. The photographer thinks he's made a dinner date with Amy. What time should I pick you up tonight? He asks. I'm sorry, but my boyfriend and I already have plans, she says. Wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, this is all this is done in the old style where they put like a film over the over the lens and make it like softer. The photographer tries again. Do you have any plans for tomorrow night? Sorry, I don't think it's a good idea to mix business and pleasure, Amy says. So how many frickin' cards was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Melinda Culea shots. Wow. The Faceman's here. This is a great Dirk Benedict. Face, posing as Amy's boyfriend, arrives at Amy's modeling session. I hope I'm not here too early, he says. No, you're right on time, Templeton answers a relieved Amy, using his real name for some reason. Sure you don't want a bite? There's George Peppard. Hannibal and Amy, posing as a couple, enter Roberto's, looking for clues to the terrorist whereabouts. Amy is enjoying it until Hannibal recognizes one of the bartenders. He decides to leave before the bartender sees him. I've seen enough anyway, he murmurs. Time to go. So there's Mr. T. B.A. posing as a cripple sees one of the cooks at Roberto's loading guns into the back of a truck. He contacts the rest of the A-team, who rushes him out of there. They're making their move, says B.A. We gotta get them right now or forget it. Move it or lose it. The A-team van arrives at Roberto's a few minutes too late. Great, Hannibal says. They'll be in Latin America with a plane load of guns and an atomic bomb in time for breakfast tomorrow if we don't find them. A lucky break. Face recognizes the terrorist truck on the highway, and the team chases it down a dirt road. Yeah, but what do we do when we catch up with them? Amy asks Amy. Good question, Howling Mad squeaks. So here's a series of action shots dealing with car chases. And they could work in a car chase into this card set. The A-team's in for it. The A-team pulls up to a ghost town. The terrorist hideout. 30 of them are waiting for them with their guns loaded. Ready or not, here they come, growls Hannibal. Yeah. See, even here, it's hard to tell that it's two different colors. And that's kind of the effect that you got on TV back then with those tube TVs. Howling Mad is ready for the terrorists with a full serving of Molotov cocktails. One of them hits its mark perfectly, and the armed guerrillas are forced to flee in terror. Hey, maybe I ought to call the Dodgers and ask for a tryout, huh? He jokes. BA's biggest van, so now he's got this big, they call it a dump truck later on, but it's a garbage truck. BA has procured a dump truck and received word on the two-way radio to move in. This baby's gonna mess up them dudes, but bad. I'm not gonna do an a Mr. T impression. I'm just not. And my Mr. T impression days are over. A smash hit. BA wheels the dump truck into a terrorist car as he tries to make a quick getaway. The frightened driver jumps out and escapes on foot instead. "You'd better run, man," snarls BA. "I'll get you if you don't get out fast." No escape. This is more terrorists. I don't understand who these terrorists are. There's so damn many of them, and they have headquarters and all this stuff. It's like Cobra. The tide of the battle is turning, and most of the terrorists are fleeing for their lives. One of them jumps on a motorcycle, but he doesn't get far. The only avenue of escape is blocked off by BA's dump truck. His garbage truck. There it is. I don't know what episode that's from. And note the copyright here is 1983, Stephan J. Cannel Productions, all rights reserved. So out of the way. BA pushes the truck into reverse, smashes another car, then heads for a group of terrorists who are attempting to get away on motorcycles. He shifts the gears swiftly into high, sending the truck roaring towards its target. Coming through. The motorcyclists, trying to escape the onrushing truck, careen wildly into an empty building. The cycles are smashed out of shape, so the terrorists get up and limp away. Yeah, no one ever got hurt really in A-Team. Lots of car crashes, lots of guns firing. No one got hit unless it was part of the plot, and no one got killed by the crashes and stuff. So here's a cycle stunt. That's cool. One motorcyclist in a panic drives his bike completely over the van in a mad attempt to escape. He is unable to land successfully, however, and crashes into a bunch of garbage cans. And survives, no doubt. One that got away. In the confusion, one car makes a clean getaway. The A-Team is unable to stop it as it speeds to a nearby plane. Several men get out, enter the doors, quickly load up the back, and start the engines. The plane slowly moves down the runway as the A-Team watches helplessly. The deadly getaway. Plane takes off safely. The A-Team searches the terrorist camp and learns that in addition to guns, bombs, and ammunition, the guerrillas have also stolen a nuclear bomb. I don't know how they learned this, but sure. And have apparently already shipped it to Panama, where they plan to blow up the Panama Canal. That's a great Dwight Schultz shot there. Ready for the mission. Howling Mad can't wait to fly to Panama. There are a couple of small aircraft just a few miles away. We can fly down there in just under half a day. BA gives him a dirty look and takes a step towards him. So this is the whole BA can't fly thing. That's a great shot, Mr. T. I won't fly. BA balks at the idea of flying. I ain't getting on no plane. Especially if that maniac is driving. And that's that. You understand, Hannibal? They really try to work in some jive talk here. I ain't getting on no plane. So here's a makeshift plane thing that was featured in the toys, and also I'm pretty sure it was in the toys, but also in the intros, like some of the intros as well, where I guess there was an episode where Murdock makes a makeshift little plane and flies it. So here they're showing that, but this can't be the plane that they use for this mission. After BA is secretly drugged, which always happens, they really yada yada this here. But like they used to put in his milk or something, and then he'd get knocked out really quickly, and then they basically put him in a plane, and then he'd wake up in another country and get mad. Hannibal, Howling Mad, and BA take off in a small aircraft while the Faceman and Amy fly another. Are you sure BA will be out for 12 hours? Hannibal asks Howling Mad. Still using that small-ass plane, but it can't be for them. Ready to land. The small aircraft carrying BA, Hannibal, and Howling Mad prepares to land. We'd better land fast, Hannibal, says Hannibal. I think BA is about to wake up. A heavy load. Oof. These cards, man. Howling Mad lands the small plane with Face and Amy close behind. Face and Howling Mad carry BA off the plane, but he begins to wake up. Mumbles BA, where am I? What's this? So now BA gets like mad. BA is soon awake and wants to know what the plane is doing here. Did you trick me into flying? He demands. Now don't be telling me no lies. You'll get yours. Howling Mad tries to convince BA that he wanted to get on the plane. It was that or face 200 terrorists. They returned with guns and stuff. Honest. BA glares. So now he's trying to gaslight BA. That's a cool Mr. T shot. Don't give me no bull. I told you not to lie, BA thunders. You tricked me into flying. Well, I'll get even with you. After we get this job done, we gotta stop them nuts from setting off that bomb, or we'll all be dead. I don't know why you'd send the A-Team on an important mission like this. Like, don't you have plans for this kind of thing? Like, it's the army. But anyways, it's a story that they just came up with here. So, on with the mission. So that's a great shot of the A-Team here. The real A-Team, not with Amy Allen. Oh. Hannibal lays out the plan. BA, you've got to get to that nuclear bomb and deactivate it. Sure, I don't think BA's ever deactivated a nuclear bomb. Maybe he did at some point, but we'll create enough diversions to keep their attention long enough for you to do it. First, we've got to find a way to get inside their compound. Heavy traffic. BA, Howling Mad, and Face knock out the driver of a jeep in a convoy that is entering the guerrilla camp. They rejoin the long line of jeeps and sneak in. Crashing the gates. More car chase stuff. Once inside the guerrilla stronghold, Howling Mad and Face break loose. They drive the jeep right through the fence. Okay, BA, jump out here and we'll take care of the rest, says Howling Mad. Murdock is taking charge. It's a knockout. Howling Mad wheels the jeep around the guerrilla compound, causing confusion and drawing the attention of the terrorists. Then Howling Mad slams it into reverse, spilling Face out of the seat. Out of control. That's kind of like what the in the intro there was a jeep or something that flipped and had smoke coming out of his grate. Howling Mad knocks his jeep into another one, causing his to roll over. As it does, the entire guerrilla camp starts to run after him. Howling Mad's jeep goes completely out of control, rolling end over end towards a hill. Roll out more action shots of I guess they saw a whole bunch of car chase stuff, and they're like, we could just make a car chase in our card set. Howling Mad's jeep falls down the side of the hill, finally coming to a halt at the bottom. Howling Mad clumsily emerges because no one gets hurt in A-Team. Dazed and confused, failing to see Hannibal driving in the opposite direction. Madman. That's a cool Dirk Benedict shot. Face, captured by the guerrillas, hears the details of their plan to blow up the Panama Canal. He gets so mad at their utter disregard for human life that he tries to punch out the leader of the terrorists, but his henchmen knock Face unconscious. That's a good Dwight Schultz. Oop, wrong turn. Murdock, who miraculously survived the jeep wreck, tries to sneak away but is spotted by a gang of guerrillas on motorcycles. Maybe if I close my eyes, they'll go away, he jokes to himself. Fast break. Howling Mad races away from the guerrilla band, but eventually they capture him and put him in a cell with Face. They can only hope that the rest of Hannibal's plan works better than the first part. So now Hannibal's off somewhere and Mr. T's trying to defuse the bomb, the nuclear bomb. A close call. Hannibal emerges to steal a helicopter from the guerrillas, but fails to gun down a car headed for the building that BA is in. Hannibal guesses that the car contains the terrorist scientist whose job it is to set off the nuclear bomb. I don't think that's how that works, but sure. On target. That's a nice little explosion there for your card set. Hannibal lobs a few grenades at the car, finding it his mark and taking a few motorcyclists with it. I guess they die. I don't know. He flies back to the compound, hoping that BA has dismantled the bomb for good. The darkest moment. That's cool. Hannibal arrives back at the compound, noticing that Face and Murdock's diversion is no longer effective. He worries that they found BA when suddenly he spots BA driving a jeep towards him. "Let's go," he shouts. Alright, so did BA defuse the nuclear bomb? It's a blast. Hannibal asks BA, "Did you deactivate the bomb?" "No," BA yells. Suddenly one of the buildings blows up. So now what? Fiery getaway. Every building in the guerrilla compound is blowing up at once as the terrorist weapons and ammunition go off in a chain reaction. Hannibal sees Face and Murdock escaping in the confusion. They race to the jeep and jump inside. Explosive escape. As the guerrilla compound is turning into a fiery inferno, the A-Team makes a miraculous escape. They drive off into the night as the flames from the compound reach high into the black sky. Okay, but what about the bomb? Two cool customers. That's a cool two-shot of George Peppard and Dirk Benedict, man. Now safe in Panama City, Hannibal jokes with BA. "I get it. The terrorist plan was to hold the canal hostage until their demands for $5 million were met." BA's little joke. He's all smiling. That's cool. BA smiles at the rest of the A-Team. "Yeah, that's why I couldn't deactivate no nuclear bomb. They didn't have what? They didn't have none. They just planned for us to think they did, and their plan almost worked." Well, that kind of sucks. That's cheap. Mission accomplished. Not really, because they didn't do anything. BA continues, "It's a good thing they didn't have no bomb, because I'm not sure if I'd know what to do with it if they did." Hannibal smiles and lights up a cigar. Okay, that's cheap, man. It's like, then why didn't they just take one or two episodes of one of the two-parters and do a card set on that if they had to cheapen it with some army-driven, nuclear bomb diffusion storyline that has little to do with A-Team, and then cheapen out with there's no bomb. I don't know. I'm disappointed, but hey. So here's the checklist. Little checklist card. There were stickers with this. I don't have them. Usually you got like a bunch of cards and maybe one sticker and a stick of gum. What I do have are the A-Team wax packs. I think there are two of them. So this is Mr. T. It's flattened out. Now, it's TOPPS, so usually what they did was they advertise another TOPPS product. So they made Bazooka gum. It was gum that came with little Bazooka Joe comics. And here's the rest of it here. It tells you what the gum is made out of. Dextrose, corn syrup, gum base, softeners. There's not a lot going on there. If you buy wax packs today, do not eat the gum. I know my saying that means to you that you should eat the gum. Don't. It's poison. It's terrible. Not that I've ever done it, but I've heard stories. Here's the other wax pack. This is the entire team. Mr. T looks confused here, but this advertisement is for Ring Pop, another TOPPS piece of merchandise. So yeah, you get 10 cards, one sticker, one stick of bubble gum. So at some point I'll collect the stickers. I'm sure they're around. Anyways, that was a nice little jaunt down memory lane, looking at these TOPPS A-Team trading cards from 1983. I hope you enjoyed looking through these with me. Happy 40th anniversary A-Team. It's a great show. I still pop it out now and again and watch an adventure or two after work. Takes the edge off the day. It's great. So I'll be looking at more comics and cards and stuff in the future. Till then, take care.